Now in this hands-on lab, we will configure a virtual network or VNet in Azure. So virtual networks allows you to create isolated and secure networks within Azure environment, and then connecting various Azure resources like virtual machines, databases, and load balancers. So the first thing is, of course, you go to your Azure portal and then log in with your Azure account credentials, and then we're gonna create. So you need to actually create a resource group, okay? But however, I already have a resource. So if I go to resource group, then I've got this new group here that I can actually use. So, but however, it's important to actually add a new resource group, and then we're gonna click on create a resource, and then here we're gonna search a virtual network, a virtual network. There we go. And then we're going to go to create. And then of course here you must choose we on free trial, but if you've got another subscription, then you can select your subscription. And then but the resource group, we want to use this one here. So again, if you don't have a resource group, then you can always create one. And then now you need to provide the network name, VNet, ELP VNet, like this. Okay, for my virtual network. And then we will also select the region there, which is South African and North. So you can always select any other region as well. So, but the advice is to select the region that is closest to you. All right, so we're gonna hit next. So we firewall is fine. I'm just gonna hit next for now to IP addresses. Okay, now on IP version, add a IP version 4 address space. So we're gonna type there the range of 10.0.0.0, which is by default /16. So meaning there we get how many addresses, possible IP addresses is 65,536. Okay, and then we're gonna add a subnet range. So on subnet range, we're gonna go with default as well. All right, and then next we need to actually configure. Okay, so let's say this one we can edit. So I just want to change the name to ELP subnet, and then the IP range will be okay. So there's IP version 4, and then the subnet is gonna be /24, which is 256 addresses. Okay, so that's fine, and then we're gonna hit next. So I just want to go back to security before we can go to tags. Now here on security, you can configure different security settings. So you can configure a Bastion host, okay, Azure Bastion. So that enables you can enable if you want a managed service for maybe RDP and SSH. Okay, so you can see here is a paid service that provides secure RDP and then SSH connectivity to your virtual machines over TLS. And then when you connect via Azure Passion, your virtual machines do not need a public IP address. All right. And then you can also have a denial of Azure DDoS network protection. So that will protect your network against denial of distribution attacks. All right, so you can select that appropriate DDoS protection plan, and then you can also enable a firewall. Okay, so you can enable a network firewall if it's needed. All right, and then next we've got the optional tags. I'm just gonna jump there. So now tags are actually useful for organizing and managing your resources. So you can add tags as a key value pairs. Okay, for example, we can say this is environment environment excuse my spelling, environment, and then the value will be maybe production. All right, and then you can hit review and create. And then here you can verify. You can see that the firewall is disabled and all of that. So you can actually verify if everything is okay. All right. Review all your configurations, and then you can go ahead and create. So once the deployment is complete, then we can actually we can go to the resource group and then look at that. Okay, so the deployment succeeded, and then if we go to, we can go to resource group, and then we can actually see the ELP VNet virtual network that we just created there. So in this lab, we actually have successfully configured a virtual network in Azure, including a resource group, the configuring the IP addresses and setting up a subnet. So VNets are actually fundamental building blocks in Azure, enabling you to create isolated and secure networks for your resource. So this knowledge is important for managing and organizing your Azure environment efficiently.